2024年9月4号，由 AAPI Strong 中小型企业高峰会庆祝亚太裔杰出成就，在 Santa Clara Convention Center 举办，来自白宫的政府官员、社区领袖、亚裔企业主共数百人到场庆祝亚太裔在美国贡献和成就，包括联邦众议员赵美心等，也亲临会场分享经验。今年度全美亚裔总商会特别颁发多个奖项，鼓励亚裔社区传奇成就奖颁给福茂集团创办人赵锡成博士和18任美国运输部长、24任美国劳工部长赵小兰妇女。先驱奖颁给喜福居 Chef Chou 创办人朱振中和电影导演疯狂亚洲富豪朱浩伟父子。企业冠军则颁给了 Grubhub 企业。周乐在场中有一场专访，访问到 Secretary of Labor and Secretary Transportation 赵小兰女士，整整1小时的时间，深入的探索赵部长对于家庭奉献，对于如何从政的这一些心路历程，侃侃而谈，打开心扉，让在场的观众得到了对他最尊敬，而且又更了解他的内心世界的一次。现在请聆听访谈的部分内容。
What is your leadership is like?
So you learn. And as I grew in my career, I got to be a better leader. And I have a piece of advice for those of you that are concerned about how do you develop your leadership skills. I think you just have to jump into it and start and try. And sometimes you do better than others. And when you're starting out, you won't be that good. So I always suggest people to volunteer at nonprofit organizations and learn about leadership by observing others.
Yeah.
And also because you can see the board of advisors, the board of governors, how they act. And then you also see how to interact with people. And if you really mess up, you're a volunteer. What are they going to do? Fire you? So it's a very low-risk way to develop your leadership skills. And I think there is a difference between leadership skills with Asian Americans and leadership skills with Westerners, you know, Caucasians or non-Asian members of our society.
Right.
God is sometimes very kind. For those people who have overnight success, I think it's very difficult. But I have been back in the government 5 times. So with each stint, I learn more about the bureaucracy. I learn to be a better leader. And so sometimes advancing gradually, step by step, is actually good. It prepares you to be a better leader. It also gives you a network of people that you know. One of the greatest joys that I have now is that I know so many people. If you want to get anybody in America, I pretty much can get you there. And so I love extending my network and helping other Asian Americans to access people and opportunities in our society. If I were like, 25 years ago, I would not have this network of people that I can draw upon. And this network of people is also very important because they tell you when something is going wrong. What I'm talking about is filial piety.
Yeah.
A phrase that is not familiar at all to, non-Asian cultures. So when I was in office, I was severely criticized because I actually brought my parents to public events. I worked very hard. I don't have a chance to see them very often. And so I thought it would be wonderful if I can invite them to events in which I'm secretary. They're open to the public. And then also I invited a lot of Asian Americans. I used to do a lot of events for Asian Americans. For example, at the Labor Department, until I got there, the African American community got $1 million a year to do what they wanted on a volunteer basis. Hispanic Americans got about $500,000 a year from the secretary. Asian Americans who also had our affiliation group, we got nothing, like zero. So when I became secretary, I did a whole bunch of things. I started a executive training course for people in the government, how to get Asian Americans into the higher ranks of the federal, government. I also hosted opportunity conferences where we would teach African Americans, Hispanic Americans, but also include Asian Americans in knowing how to get federal contracts. Now, I said to you, I can't give you federal contracts. That would be against the law. Now, I don't look good in stripes, okay? But I can show you. I can introduce you to all the procurement officers around the government in different departments. I can show you the roadmap, what they're looking for, and then you can get the contracts yourself. And then I also started paid internships for a lot of people, but 50% was Asian Americans, because I couldn't make them only internships for Asian Americans, even though they've been excluded from previous Asian internship programs. So I started a lot of programs like this. And at labor, I was not criticized, but at transportation, I was criticized. I was criticized for discriminatory behavior, number one. And number two, for nepotism, for bringing my parents to these events. And so I think for us, we still have some ways to go in explaining our culture. But I also feel we've made great progress. Because my father used to say, when we first came to America, we had to learn. But now, we can also teach. And that's what we should be doing.
高峰会有3个亮点，当日议程及研习环境 AI 发展与影响，畅谈人工智慧如何帮助中小企业成长、创造商机，包括 AI Fireside Chat， 讨论人工智能对于未来社会的重要影响及其商业应用，拥抱未来的 AI 和劳动力的转型。万通贷款 GMCC 创办人之一金敏成在会中讨论 AI 驱动技术如何创造新的就业机会，提高生产力，整合新的 AI 技能挑战伦理考量，提供见解。小企业的 AI 赋能应用和见解 Palo Alto Network 高级总裁徐波主持，与会专家有微软公司的总监、国际半导体峰会高级顾问，探讨 AI 技术如何简化操作，提升客户检验并促进生长，运用 social media 对于个人影响力以及企业品牌的掌握。首席执行官 Paul Shen 互动分享，谈到品牌专家和行业领袖推广强大个人及企用品牌的企业最大化的社交媒体影响力的有效策略，主要的是说优化渠道和战术，有效的吸引到目标受众，提高数字营销专业知识，如何建立100万美元企业的成功策略，推广至100万元成功的经验，了解市场定位、财务管理、创新、领导力相关的因素。峰会在依依不舍的情况下拉满了帷幕。谢谢大家的收看。